Yeah, alright, we're live. Sweet! Hello, everyone. 1 second, we're just getting everything else set up. But yeah, this has been a pretty fun experience here, experimenting with the YouTube and Twitch and Facebook streaming. Alright, let's make sure I have the right thing captured here. Why is it... Where am I getting the audio from? Facebook. I knew I had one off. Or rather, one on. Let's get ready to rumble. Properties. There you are. Okay, not you. You. Done. Uh-oh. That's giant. I forgot that the screen was freaking cute. Let's see. Fit to screen. 4K. Gotta love it. So welcome everyone. We are the Late Nights. I'm joined by Warhavoc and Gimsy. Gimsy's actually muted, but he's more than welcome to join us in the discussion here. We're going to be talking about Halo, seeing as the Late Nights did start on Halo 2. Well, technically Halo 1, but Halo 1 wasn't really a big multiplayer scene until Xbox Connect. Oh, nostalgia. But we're here to talk about Halo Infinite and the gameplay. We took a break from Halo in Halo 4 and Halo 5. Tried to get into it Halo 4. Didn't quite get into it as much as we thought we would. Halo 5, we definitely skipped. But Halo Infinite has caught our eyes, and we've seen the reveal and want to talk about it. So let's get started with the footage. Is there anything you want to add in real quick, Warhavoc, before we continue on?
I am super sorry. I was focused on another matter. Can you repeat that?
Oh, if there's anything you want to mention before we get started on this footage here.
Oh, no. I'm all set to go. I was trying to get all 3 channels loaded up so I can pay attention to all comments.
Awesome. Perfect.
Whatever.
Let me actually... Yeah, I got to do it too.
Wish I had more screens.
Right? That's exactly... Yeah. Okay, so I got all the chats on, just in case people want to send some comments. So let's go ahead and start our discussion here. Halo, let's get into the footage. And... Well, I'll stop it every time there's something I want to discuss. And you actually have power too on this Warhavoc, so feel free to pause. All right. Did I press play? I feel like I did. Thank you, sir. So right off the bat, we get the menu here. We're on a Halo. Now, what wasn't clear is where this is exactly taking place, but it's... Yeah. So, 28th of May. Here, pause it real quick. Okay, so 160 days after we lost the war. Now, from what I've heard in the lore, this is taking place after Halo Wars 2, not technically Halo 5. The Banished are attacking, and this is actually really cool to see us just starting right into the fray of it after we lost the battle. Although it is kind of strange that we didn't see the main battle. I'm guessing they're saving it for Halo Wars 3. I know at the end of Halo Wars 2, Atriox is still alive, but he's lost the main battle there with the Infinity. The Spirit of Fire. Thinking of Halo 5 already, or Halo 4. But yeah, so this is one of the new characters. He gets stuck in space after one of these engagements, and he finds Master Chief. So we're coming back from that trailer straight into the demo here. So let's go ahead and press play.
So, from what I'm understanding, if I can just pitch in this very quick.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
This pilot here, from what I can understand, from everything that's been detailed out, he is one of the survivors from the Infinity class carrier. He's one of the lone pilots of the Pelican. I think it was Pelican Echo 316.
They'll say it in a second.
Almost really close to 419, which we still don't know how the Infinity got there, because last time we were looking at Halo and Halo 5 ending, all we know is the Infinity is making random jumps because Cortana was chasing after the Infinity and trying to destroy it. And so one of the things that caught my attention was, just want to throw this in there very quick, is we hear the Banished talking in that one short little video that we had a little bit while ago, and how they were saying certain things. Now, when we get further on, there's something else I would like to definitely...
Oh, you can't hear him? Let me Let me turn him up. I guess they can't hear you.
Saying, are you
Yelling with someone from the other side of the world, so we can't
I,
hear him very well.
I just turned him way up. Can you guys hear him now? I think it might be too loud. Okay, go ahead. Say something.
Maybe. I apologize if we're having technical difficulties. I hope I'm not yelling or something like that. But let's go ahead and continue on, and I'll discuss it later on as we get to those scenes.
Thanks, Minus.
There.
This isn't happening. I'm going to have to make an emergency landing. Hold on, Chief.
Pretty cool intro there.
No. No. You. I can't stand this. You. No. You don't get to tell me what to do. You don't get to tell me anything. We're. Are you even listening? I can't free you here, Clark. Free what? You'll be safe. Oh. I'll be safe. Safe? I haven't been safe since I found you. I found you, remember? You were out there on your own. You'd still be out if it wasn't for me. I thought I was going home. It won't be a home if we don't stop the banished. You keep saying that. We're outgunned, outnumbered. I know I saw Clone Wars over there. I'm going to dig through them and find one of the working slipsticks trial. And when you're done with this war, you'll get away from here. Far away. Wait here.
Go ahead and pause. Yeah, awesome. So right now, off the bat, we see the banter between them two, and he's pretty frustrated. Now, I don't know how it is in the Halo lore, but in real life, pilots are officers. So him talking to Master Chief, he is Master Chief superior, as Master Chief is the highest enlisted of the Navy. So I'm guessing this guy is just... he's probably one of the lower ranked, maybe like a lieutenant, that's my guess. But yeah, he seemed pretty fresh into it. That's why he's got this kind of attitude about him. He's kind of angry at Master Chief and all this, so that's pretty cool.
Well, the other thing I want to definitely jump in there on very quick is 343 definitely did say that the demo that we're seeing right now is several hours into the campaign.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
there's a little section of it that we didn't get to see, which is the beginning section, which is what we are bound to see once it gets further along the way. So
You're
the whole
right, you're
cutscene of Master Chief walking out of the Pelican, we don't know what happened from there to here. There's a big gap line right there. So there's a lot of things not being addressed.
Right, right.
Just like how did Master Chief end up in the middle of space? Because last we knew, Master Chief was not with the UNSC Infinity.
Right. He was
So-
kind of rogue and chasing Cortana.
Yeah, and so the last time we see him, he just gets out of the Shield, the Didax prison, so to say. He just walks out of that because of, oh geez, forget, Locke.
Oh, yeah.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah, and then to answer your question, do you think Leonidas will copyright strike them?
All these years later.
Yeah, who knows at this point?
I mean, I think the
He
Spartan...
has that same anger.
Yeah, the Spartan aspect of it was actually really cool. I'm really happy to see that going on. But I don't know how much of it is truly going to be sticking with Leonidas, seeing as Leonidas died during battle. But you know, it's actually really, really funny. In Thermopylae, he actually didn't die like he did in the movie 300. He actually died in the middle of battle as the rest of the forces were retreating. His 300 men, or I guess rather the surviving of the 300 Spartans specifically, were there to hold off while the rest made it to safety. And Leonidas died on the third day, I believe, and his men made sure to, you know, undress him, or rather kind of change out his helmet, because they didn't want him to find his body during the fray of the battle. So once they were defeated, last thing they wanted is for him to be, you know, displayed, ashamed for Sparta. Pretty cool thing. Sorry, went off tangent there, but a cool thing that I thought I'd mention. I do like Master Chief's armor. It is reminiscent to the Halo 1. And you'll see what this is here on his left arm here, on his wrist. I actually like the reveal on that. And let's go ahead and get playing on the rest of this, unless you have one more thing to add in.
Oh no, I'm good to go off your lead now.
Awesome. Press play. Thank you, sir.
Please. Let me see what I can find. Cannons first. When I get back, we can look. Together. Okay, we got it.
I don't know if I can pause it. Thank you, sir. So this is the AR from Halo 1. Well, Halo Reach. It looks like it's been modified a little bit, but it definitely looks a lot more like the Reach AR. And here in a second, we're about to see how it fires. And when I first saw this, I thought it was pretty interesting to see the design from Reach. I'm like, okay, so they're definitely bringing everything kind of back from Reach, even though it's not chronological. But I do like how it shoots when it does show it. Right off the bat, we see these weird squarish, voxel-looking terrain, which is actually really new. I'm not used to seeing that. I think the idea was introduced in Halo Wars when they actually were able to select like a section of the terrain and launch it into space, which is pretty much the ending for Halo Wars 2. But this is actually really cool to see them add it in. And you see the regular foliage here and the Halo. We're on a Halo. Do we know what Halo we're on, Warhavoc? Or is this one of the other unfound Halos?
So the one thing I meant to do for some research earlier was I was going to go up and look at to see what Halo this was, because at the end of Halo Wars 2, I got enough of a feel that this was going to be the continuum of Halo 2 to Halo Infinite. But from my understanding, this is not the case, because the fact is, the end of Halo Wars 2, they were going to Installation 04, where Master Chief, where we get to see him for the very first time in Halo CE. In this Halo ring has only one section of it that is damaged, which is definitely not from Halo 2, and it's definitely not from either Halo Wars 1 or Halo Wars 2. So that's not Installation 4, not 00, not 01. It could be 07, it could be 05 at this moment. But I'm not too quite sure which one it is. So if using Halo 3 on the Prophet, if I remember correctly, this is what the mission is called, where you get to kill the Prophet of Truth, that's where we can actually get a good glimpse to see where this installation is currently taking place, which then, if we dive in further, we can figure out where it's actually sitting at in what section of the universe or the galaxy I should put it.
Right. I'm pretty excited. And just a little note on the UI here. We see that it is shaped like his visor. He has his shield on display on the top, and his radar on the bottom left here. But on the bottom, it's actually blue for Master Chief in the center, rather than what was it, white in some of them and green in the others. And then you'll see your allies as obviously green markers. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I do like the radar has a center focal point. As well, that's pretty neat. I like how they did the aesthetic of it, where it kind of fades from a darker to a lighter color. And
yeah, the radar is definitely a lot different from the previous Halo games. It definitely feels like it's going to be very different on a gameplay. It kind of reminds me of Aliens with
oh yeah, that's right.
the Xbox One's release. That's what it really feels like.
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of that too. I'm not sure the distance, but it seems like it covers a little bit more area. I think in Halo 1 it was maybe 5 to 10 feet on this, or I guess here on the top bottom left corner. I don't know if this is actual 31 meters itself here that it's tracking. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. We have the guns here on the bottom right. I'm not sure what this is. The right bumper is what I'm seeing here for the Halo. I'm guessing that actually is the grapple control here. We don't see any grenades, so I'm guessing the grenades will probably pop up as he picks them up, which is nice. It's less clutter on the screen, so if you have it, it'll show it. If you don't, it won't. I like that concept.
That is definitely true. And something I want to add in very quick, because this is like a big speculation problem for a lot of people, is that pistol. People are thinking that it's a pistol remake. I will say this for everyone right now that has no clue. This is actually a different version of a pistol that really looks very close to a Colt 9, to be honest, which is called an MK Special or Sidekick. Sorry, I got that name wrong for a second there. But yeah, that's what this one is called. It's an MK Sidekick.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll see the pistol here in a second here, and it is very different than what I'm used to. The only pistol we've ever really had was either the plasma pistol or the mag.
Magnum, yep.
Yeah, that thing's
Everyone's
powerful.
personal favorite.
Yeah, but this is different. It seems very very precise as opposed to the other one, which packs more of a punch. All right, let's go ahead and continue. Unless you have one last thing. Cool.
So one thing I can just notice right here is the feel of the nature in the open world. I do really like that. It gives you like an RPG kind of feeling. And as we see here, we can see what looks like the Unicy Infinity. Although I do have my doubts, I think that is the Infinity, because the Infinity was 10 times larger than the excuse me, not the Unicy, but the Covenant Cruiser. Because in one of the videos that we got to see, I forget which it was from, I think it was Halo Wars, where the Unicy Infinity rams right through one of the Covenant Cruisers.
Oh god,
With
look at
no
this.
challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, my guess is it's probably like a smaller ship. And pause it right here.
So yeah, the one thing I could definitely say is I did some research. I think it's because I was looking up to see what the Harbinger was all about. It was what we hear later on, not to try to cut ahead, but the ship, which was the Unicy Harbinger, which we get to see back in Halo Reach, that a lot of people didn't really notice about, which was the first battleship, if I remember correctly, of the Unicy for Space Fleet, which had two sections of that, what we saw on the front.
Sorry, I'm just trying to analyze a lot of this stuff. A lot of this is pretty cool. They have all the buttons that you need to move around and maneuver through the UI. It's pretty cool here. You have upgrades, TAC map, database. This UI alone here in this little menu, I'm not sure if this is going to be... if this is the whole map. My guess is it might change per level, or if it's a full open world. I haven't heard anything confirming that. I heard that it's similar to it. I don't know if you heard any different there, Warhavoc. If this is truly open world, but that's really cool.
So, from what we can see here in a speculation that this is a open world base, as we see, like, we continue the mission here a little bit, you're going to see little sections of it where it says, do you want to start this mission and start that mission kind of a thing. So it does give you the feel that you can just do the campaign as you want it. So, and I think it will expand, but being the fact that this is just a demo, I think we're just locked to this little section. So I don't think this is what we will be seeing when the game fully comes out.
Right.
One thing I definitely want to add in there is a lot of people are definitely looking at the database and the upgrades. So a good speculation is the upgrades will probably be armor enhancements, armor improvements, or maybe, because one of the little details that they kind of give us, which is awesome, that 343 and Bungie used to do with a lot of their videos. So give you like these little spoilers or these little hints what we're bound to see. So being the fact that we could see Master Chief's armor being created in that short 1 minute and 24 seconds video, showing the video of his suit being created, I think we're going to have that being brought in, where we
That'd
can
be pretty
actually
cool.
customize his armor.
And that makes me wonder how much of the campaign will be focused on Master Chief and being your own, whether it's Spartan or ODST. I'm not sure what they have planned, but it would be cool to have your own character that you can customize throughout, like in Halo Reach or even ODST, that just bringing everything back for firefights. But yeah, we do want to continue the story of Master Chief. We want to see what happens, what happened with Cortana. There's going to be tidbits about what happened after Halo 5, and kind of bringing it all together from Halo Wars 2 and Halo 5 there into this. And yeah, I'm really excited to see all this, just this open world map. And you can see that it has the score. I'm guessing this is the score that you have right here, so it keeps track of that rather than have it inside your HUD while you're playing. So you have it in this menu. You have the difficulty, and I'm not sure what these two here are on the right side here. These two little symbols right to the right of the difficulty. Well, we'll keep watching this, but yeah.
So the one thing I could definitely say is what we're seeing right there is potentially items that you have to find, such as like you would see in Division 1 or 2. You would see like where you have to find those little phones or the laptops. Those are what those kind of things remind me of. It's just little items that we can find.
You're thinking like archive or like the terminals?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's what I think those are about.
definitely could be. Yeah, that definitely could work there too. I kind of wish I could see the upgrades in the database. I guess tab, so that way we can see what it's going to look like. But they're probably not going to show it this close or this far from release. I don't know if they're still shooting for 2020 holiday season. They might be. I was pretty sure or at least I was under the impression that it was going to be released somewhere in early 2021. But I don't know. I could be wrong. It would be
Well,
nice.
every Halo game has always been around my birthday, which is in November time. So I would highly doubt that they're going to try to bypass it, or they're going to try to keep it in that same area, which is usually on the 23rd or the 27th in those holiday times,
You
which
think?
is around Black Friday. It's usually where we see a lot of the Halo time come out. One thing I definitely say is, now that I'm like getting the vibe from it, is the one on the right side that we were just talking about, those symbols that we're seeing. I have a feeling that those might be cryo tubes, excuse me. And that might be how we might find other Spartans or other Unit C.
Okay. Oh.
Because as far as we know, the Unit C is not present besides the one Pelican operative.
Right. And we see that. Yeah. There's just bits and pieces of the war, just kind of splash onto this Halo ring.
Oh, definitely.
Sprinkled about. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. Now, there hasn't been any mention of flood, but we're pretty sure there's going to be flood in this. Be very odd if there wasn't. As well as the return of the Sentinels. I'm not sure if we're going to see the Prometheans in this. I think we might just see the standard Sentinel that we saw in like Halo 1, 2, and 3. Nothing like in Halo 4 or 5. But I could be wrong. They might be saving them for later or something special. We'll see.
Yeah, I think we might be seeing a lot of like special Sentinels for sure. I did hear a podcast from 343 talking about it at one point in time, about how Bungie favored a lot of their Sentinels back in Halo 2. Especially the little guys that you see running around that were the construction bots that would just go around making little repairs here and there. So I have a feeling that we're definitely going to be seeing them. As for the Flood, though, it's hard to say. I mean, there were two brutes that we saw in Halo Wars 2 that was being very dumb and totally going against Atriox's orders, which
Right.
was, don't go into the...
The High Charity.
oh, shoot, the name forgot. It just bypassed me. The
The High
Covenant's
Charity.
High Charity. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I got
But
you.
yeah, so they went in there, which then released the Flood, which then gave me a thought that they're going to be coming on the Halo ring, that they're going to be replacing at Halo Installation 04. But, being the fact is, this Halo ring only has one section of it being damaged, unlike two sections or the three sections like in 04. Makes me very skeptical if we're going to see the Halo ring or the Flood come from this.
Maybe. I've been wondering about the Halo 4. Do you remember the... Oh, what was that? Not missions, but they're similar to missions where you play as, I believe, Thorn, a Spartan, the new Spartan.
Mm-hmm.
Fire team, I want to say.
Halo 5.
Was it Halo 5? No. It was Halo 4. You remember doing the Dr. Halsey side missions? I guess you can call them side missions, but...
Oh, yeah.
So you remember doing those? I wonder if we're going to have something...
Spartan Ops.
Spartan Ops, that's it. Okay, awesome. Yeah. I wonder if we're going to see something like that happening in this game where you have seasons kind of, we get new content or something. It's... I don't know. I really like this design, and this map layout is pretty cool. So them adding on to it continuously would be pretty amazing. I don't think we've ever had a DLC for Halo, have we?
No, I don't think we ever had.
Yeah. Okay.
But for Halo Spartan Ops, I don't think we're going to be seeing a continuation from that, only because the fact is, from what we can tell, is the UNSC is been defeated, so therefore all the Spartans are no longer there besides Master Chief, from what we can see. So I don't think the Spartan Ops is going to be a thing, let alone it wasn't really a fan favorite, as because the fact is, when Halo 5 came around, the campaign, it didn't feel like a normal campaign. It felt the continuation of the Halo Spartan Ops.
That's true.
No one really liked Halo 5's campaign.
Yeah, it felt it. I feel like I tried to mirror Halo 2, where you're going back and forth between two characters, but instead of the Arbiter this time, it was the not what's his name? It's the detective. Yeah, Locke. That's his name. And I don't know. It was an interesting perspective, but I think everyone was more or less kind of, they preferred the abstract war. You're in the middle of it, trying to deal with it then and there, rather than trying to investigate, the Master Chief throughout the campaign. All right, let's go ahead and continue this, unless you have anything else.
Nope.
All right.
So as we see here, we can see where they're kind of looking at each section, and we get to see the difficulty, which is normal. So we can definitely see those are like little main missions. I do like that one person's comment that I did read upon saying, "What did you do to my Warhog? It sounds like you took rice and stuck into a muffler."
This guy's definitely not playing a legendary. Ooh, there's the pistol.
Alright, so just to pause it right here very quick. So we were talking a little bit earlier about that pistol. So as we can see, this is definitely a remake of a new pistol design. And this is totally not the Magnum replacement.
It's
by the
not.
way.
No, it's not. It definitely looks different. The body is so different too. But it is still looks pretty beefy. I mean, you you look at Master Chief, he's still pretty big. So this in his hands makes his hands almost look tiny. So it's still a fairly big pistol here.
The one thing I do have to add in, from seeing right here, I know the graphics is not up to par yet because this is months in advance, being ready for this demo and everything else like that. But I have to say, right now, his gloves or his hand, covering, whatever you want to call it, it does look like black leather.
It does.
It doesn't look like that special polyester.
That's true. That's true. I wonder why that is. I wonder why the leather, not the polyester look. I did like that in Halo 4, that they had that the undersuit was pretty cool.
I just think it's because they still have yet to really polish it. It didn't sound like they were even ready for the demo, to be honest. As they were saying that this was months in advance, and they haven't really updated it. So, there's probably a lot of work that they, done, but didn't get that ready for the demo that we saw.
Gotcha.
But, got anything else to add in right here?
Okay, so actually, I do. So now that we see up close the enemy here, we can see the radar distance. Now, I'm guessing because this grunt is, I don't know if he's dead yet. I think because the red crosshairs are still there, he's still alive. So we can't see him on the radar. That goes to show you that the distance in this is still not very large. So it's going to be very similar to Halo, the original trilogy's distance. We see the red block right there. I'm guessing that's the elite that's in the left corner. Still a far distance. I think the elite's actually further than the grunt in this. So maybe the grunt is dead and he just died and the crosshairs just haven't disappeared from or at least the red hasn't disappeared.
Yeah, because we see what looks like his methane tank right there in the back just starting to plumb out.
Right.
It's being exposed to the air.
Let's play it real quick. Okay, so he is dead. Okay, so
one thing I definitely have to say is, as we can see this elite sprawled out on the floor, he definitely looks a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Not to say that his armor is probably smaller or anything else like that. Are we seeing that the Covenant is now mixing its gendered elites as we go off on? Because usually what we would see is the equivalent of the male elites. Because a lot of people are asking about that. Is there even a female elite to begin with? So could this be a female elite, or is it just a remake of them because they are the banished?
I actually noticed that too right off the bat. Was the elite was so tiny? I'm like, wow, this is. But then again, you start to look at it, and maybe throughout their species, there's just different body types like we have on Earth here. We have short, we have tall, big, small. So it could be that it's just a smaller elite, maybe an adolescent, a younger Sangheili, or it could be a female. We don't know. That's I don't think we have anything that's canon that shows the voice of a female elite. I've seen the anime for Halo, and I there was only one, the duel, I think it was called, between two elites, and the wife was in there, but I don't think she talked. I think it was just the guy was just having a deep thought in the scene. Ah,
So
but
the one
yeah.
thing I want to add in here is we do have a person in here, one of our channels, that is talking and saying yes, they are. My screen's blurry. Canonically, female elites are a thing, but their culture is like feudal Japan with an honor system, and that such a warrior tend to be male, so this might be a younger elite. So that could be a possibility. We might be able to see age differences within the new enemies now. Because one thing I definitely did notice is, as we watch going on, we see some grunts being a little bit bigger than the others as well. Not to say that it's just their new armor systems or anything else like that. One thing I definitely want to add in there is the elite right now looks very Master Chief, like a Spartan. If you look at their Under Armour and everything else like that. It used to be like that very nice, smooth hexagon shape. We can see what looks like a very mechanical Under Armour
Right.
to their main primary armor on the top. Although one thing we can definitely say is that as the main helmet was definitely very altered, especially the armor over their hands now. That's a new thing, and this I haven't been paying attention that much.
I'm just now noticing his under armor here does kind of look polyester, looking rubbery, rather than a leather, which is funny because the gloves do kind of look like it's leathery. I think it's just little patches here, and they do use human supplies because they're the Banished, they're not Covenant. They use anything that they can find, and we see human supplies here on the right side, a Covenant stuff on display here on the left. Even the grenades I like how they're glowing here, so you can actually kind of see that they're there.
Yeah, I definitely do like that. So the one thing that we definitely do see right now for the grenades is at the current moment we see the human frag grenade and we see the plasma grenade. It makes me wonder, are they potentially going to be bringing in the flame grenade, which a lot of people really enjoyed in Halo 3?
I did. I enjoyed it myself. I don't know if we're gonna. I know for a fact we have the frag because we see it here on his UI, and then these are the plasmas. We do see the brute grenade, but I don't think we showed.
The spike grenade.
Yeah, the spike grenade. That's right. But we didn't see the fire grenade, which I don't know if this just hasn't been introduced or maybe it's not in the game. We'll see.
We'll see. Let's go ahead and continue on here.
Ooh, the commando. That's very
So-
powerful.
I will definitely pause it right here. So a lot of people were talking about guns being remade and everything else like that, and a lot of people are not really enjoying, thinking that this is the remake of the Halo DMR. I
It's
can
not.
definitely tell you this is not a remodel of the DMR, because for instance the DMR never loaded like a AR-15 or a M16 or anything in that variation. This is more of a modern day rifle, or maybe this is just an older tech, because as we saw in Halo Wars 2 was the Spirit of Fire that lost its hyperdrive, was stuck in hypersleep for 27 years before coming active again at 00 installation, which is aka the Arc.
Right.
So
mean-
maybe we're going to be seeing some older technology.
Looking at the design, it looks like it reminds me of the saw from Halo 4 and a cross between the DMR. But it definitely doesn't fire like the DMR. DMR is a lot slower, but this also sounds more powerful. So I'm guessing the caliber is a little bit bigger here. We see 6.5 millimeters. Oh yeah, I think that is bigger than the DMR. So it's definitely using a bigger caliber round when firing. So it does give it that powerful feel.
Oh yeah, I definitely noticed that now too, since we have that pause right here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. I wonder, Halo's not known for having different attachments like this little holographic here, the sight here that we're seeing. I'm wondering if they're going to change that so you can kind of customize it later on. Maybe like multiplayer, you can have a specific loadout that you want. I think that'd be
I'm
pretty cool.
kind of expecting that they would, especially the fact is 343 is becoming very closely, dangerously close, I should say, towards Call of Duty franchise. So with that in mind, I definitely do think they will be definitely doing that for
Yeah.
the red dot sites.
I remember, I think it was last week, people were raging on the internets about sprint being in the game. But I gotta say, I'm used to it. I'm fine with it. I think if you're gonna sprint, you should definitely be much faster than what you're normally just kind of jogging, shooting.
Oh yeah.
Halo 1 was still a fast pace. Halo 2 kind of slowed down, and Halo 3 sped it kind of back up. I do like having the sprint. I've kind of gotten lazy and complacent about it. And now having it, I feel kind of spoiled. But it's not bad. I think having a sprint mode definitely utilizes to get to certain distances much quicker. But you have that risk that you can't fire unless you break out of that sprint mode. And I think it's all right, especially with the grapple that we have. It could break you out of it, and you can just really get out of there. That way, you're not too dependent on sprinting alone. So there's definitely different methods that you could use. Even some of the stuff that you can pull to your I guess to your body and kind of equip and toss it back, like the barrels, the explosive barrels.
Yep.
That's pretty impressive. So there's definitely more options that you can do to defend yourself or protect yourself. I'm wondering how far the grappling will be. Like if I pull like a piece of broken plate and I can grapple it and use it as a shield or throw it at someone. I'm wondering what it's limited to. If it could just be the either the characters or explosive barrels, interactables, which I'm hoping there's more interactables.
I think it's very short ranged. And something I definitely want to add in here, since someone's just messaging it here on one of the channels, that this is definitely a fact that in the Halo lore, Spartans never looked down the sights. It was all connected to their visors. So being like this, we're like they were saying, is wondering, is that going to be a thing? Having enhancements that would definitely change how you gameplay. Maybe it's all shooting from the hip, so you don't have to really aim down the sight, so to say. So that would be definitely a cool thing to see that they actually implement in. Because as we see like the Halo animations that we see with the Spartan, I forget her name, but she was running around with the sniper rifle. She at one point just like not even paying attention, takes her hand, shoots something off to her right or whatever it was.
That's
And then
Linda.
while still aiming forward.
Was it Linda?
I forget who it was.
I know Kelly's the runner. I think Linda was the sniper.
Linda. Okay.
Oh yeah, but I'm just really happy with all this stuff. I had something that slipped.
Yeah, so one thing I definitely want to add in, being the, a little bit earlier we were talking about how Master Chief, how he ended up here and everything else like that we see him flying in space. Where the hell is the rest of his team?
That's right. We don't know. Scattered. What happened after, like, apparently, so this is 160 some days after they lost the war, but what exactly does that mean? Like, in Halo Wars, you're cut off from Earth from the portal, because Atriox deactivated it, so you can't get back to Earth unless you take the long way there, which I doubt you're going to try and do that. That'll take years for you to get back to Earth. So I'm not sure if the battle spilled into Earth at all, but that'd be pretty interesting too to see. I know there's other human colonies out there that weren't destroyed, but yeah, we don't see too much on what happened with Earth either. So we don't know if the war was lost or if they just cut them out from the Ark, access to the Ark through that teleporter that they had up there.
I'm going to continue for just a little bit here.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and pause it. Great screenshot there.
That's not that everyone's been using as a meme.
It's so true.
Timing.
Oh God. So yeah, obviously we see the brutes look. The face looks kind of more human than I'm used to seeing, like in Halo 2. It seems like it changes every Halo since Halo 2.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But one thing I will say though is it kind of opens up the lore to make it seem like there's different factions, different subspecies of brutes, which I guess would make sense, seeing as they're far into the future. They've spread across the verse here, along with the rest of the Covenant species. So yeah, I guess it's not bad. I do like that effect when you shoot the leg a certain amount of times, they will kind of trip up. That's pretty cool. The armor kind of, before he shot all that armor off, it gave him that Bane kind of look, from Batman. So it's definitely its own unique armor type, so it separates itself, the Banished, from the Covenant look. So that's pretty cool. I like that appeal there. Brutes, I don't think in Halo 2 they'd had too much armor. It wasn't until Halo 3 that they started getting a lot of armor. But yeah, so far it's pretty cool. It's kind of weird to see his face like this, like the emotion, or rather the lack of it. Just so
Totally ragdoll.
yeah,
Right off his face.
yeah.
What did I do with my life? Why did I take those?
That's exactly what's happening.
So the one thing I definitely wanted to point out was we did see the spike grenade for just a split of a second. I was trying to get a good moment where we can actually see that, so we can talk about that a little bit. I do like the fact that they did bring that back into the game. That
Right.
was a big favorite back in Halo 3. I remember so many people use that for multiplayer. It was one of the favorite grenades to go off because not only did it kill the person I attached to, but if you're next to your allies, the chances are you're bound to kill multiple of them. If not, they could critically damage your shields. Just as
Right.
much as the plasma grenade. Although the plasma grenade wouldn't so much as kill everyone around them if it was just connected to one person, unless they were directly in front of the grenade. So if the grenade attaches to your breastplate and you're behind them, you're bound to survive. While the spike grenade would bounce around the terrain around you and still get you from the other side.
Right. I wonder what more we're going to see. I wonder if we'll see the drones or even the skirmishers. They were taken out, right? I think they were only in Halo Reach.
Yes, and to be quite truthful, I was kind of annoyed with the fact that they added that kind of species in. I do know that those were technically within the lore and everything else like that. They just didn't fit really right. But also going off about that a little bit earlier, we were talking about the brutes. For the favorites of the brutes, I do like the Halo 2 version of the brutes, especially with Tartarus. How
Oh,
that
yeah.
that look, it just looked really nice for the brutes. Unfortunately, with the new style and everything else like that, I'm sorry. It feels like we're gonna go play Shadow of Mordor now, and all these other brute chiefs that we're gonna be coming across in the game. It's all gonna be like Shadow of Mordor. You kill this guy, maybe you can recruit him. That's what it sounds like because they're technically mercenaries.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they're banished. They're outcasts, mercenaries, guns for hire. Yeah,
So
definitely.
it does not feel right with how they look. They look too orcish, in my opinion.
They do kind of, huh?
Very, especially the eyes. I'm just like, I'm sorry, you're too orcish for me. You need to be more of a brute. Throw some hair on them, make them look like a gorilla because that's kind of where they're supposed to be to a sense. But it's like you need to give them that look again. They're looking too ragged, I should say.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and continue unless you have anything else to add in.
Oh no,
This
no,
little-
that's it. So right now. Oh, that's
So
cool.
the one thing I would definitely want to add in right here, we can see that spike grenade, and we can see this new shield. Now the thing cool about this little shield is, they can't shoot you, but you can shoot them. I wonder how much of a game changer this will be for multiplayer. Obviously, the shield strength that on
that's
it, as
right.
we see it, go on, isn't as strong as it would say, Halo 3's bubble shield or Halo 2's, Halo 3's deployable cover, which is what we would see in Halo CE or Halo 2, which you couldn't even deploy those. Those were just stationary that you just happen to come across.
Right, and I like these brute grenades. They do some pretty decent damage, but we saw that the radius of the explosion seemed to have shrank a little bit. As we'll see here, it'll be limited to just these two blocks, just about. So yeah, the radius on the grenades have been tuned down. I want to say even the plasma grenade was not as strong as I'm used to seeing it, or maybe it's just because of the difficulty. It could be different on normal than it is on legendary, which would be interesting. But I don't know how that would affect multiplayer at all, since it's all kind of the same there. But yeah, I definitely like this. I wonder if this is Forerunner tech, because this doesn't look Covenant. Like you look at the machine that the shield's deploying from, and it doesn't look human from the looks of it. But this kind of design of the shield itself doesn't look Covenant. I'm wondering if this is Forerunner tech utilized.
I bet you that you're 100% correct on that one. Especially the one thing I have to add in. Halo Reach Forge mode. it reminds me of that grid that you could just deploy in Forge. That's what it really reminds me of.
Oh, yep. No, that reminds me of that too. And also, that's one thing they don't show in this footage, and I don't think they're ready to talk about Forge. But I wonder how much Forge, or rather level designing and map, type creating, we're gonna be able to do in Halo Infinite. Or yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Halo Infinite for Forge.
yeah.
That's gonna be up for debate, especially the fact that we don't know what multiplayer is gonna be about. For all we know is this could be kind of like Conker's Blade, where you
Right.
can just have these battles. You can just set up, and you have this like normal Halo matches, or maybe it's all new setup. That's like, hey, you're gonna go over to the here in this section, and this is gonna be your deployment area for battle. So, go at it. So that is really up to debate and up in the air for right now. But one thing
Oh
I definitely want
God.
to say very quick for this little section right here, I don't know if we're going to get a good visual, as we will like later on in the video. But if you look at the helmet of that brute, that helmet is very unique. We haven't seen anything close to that besides maybe I think it was Halo 2's Hunter.
Hunter.
So, yeah, the Hunter. So, I thought that that was kind of a cool design. It's like sleek, menacing, like I'm gonna get at you kind of a thing. Like I'm gonna rush perfectly at you. He kind of has those little two sections in the back section that makes it feel like he's gonna ram you with the horns and everything else.
Oh, apparently, Gimsy saying there's a gold version of it on Reach.
Huh, I
Reach.
haven't noticed that.
I don't know if was that Reach or was that Halo 3. Could have sworn it was Halo 3, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
We did see brutes in Reach. We did.
Did they look different in Reach too?
No. You're right. No, you're right. So in Halo Reach, we did see a helmet design that was similar to that. Although that was a little bit more different because they did have sections of the armor that would flex out,
Oh,
kind of like Toothless the Dragon in How to Train Your Dragon.
that's a good analogy there.
It just kind of give that reference or the feel for anyone that might understand that idea concept of what we're visualizing here.
Yeah. Now, I'm surprised that being the banished. So I think the ones who are the core members are wearing the red. That seems to be their main color, and then everyone else is kind of wearing their own colors or mercenaries. At least that's the feel I'm kind of getting, because that blue elite that we saw is like, well, if he's with the banished, why does he look still blue? That's more of a covenant color: purple, blue, white.
Well, there is also still a ranking system in the Banished.
Yeah, like well, you look at humans; they typically all wear the same uniform. You'll see, maybe ODST is different from the standard Marine. You'll have officers that you can tell by what the stripes on their sleeves, or maybe they're wearing chevrons on their collars or on their, I guess, flak jackets. So I mean, it's weird to see. I guess because they're not uniform. They're not really a nation. They're really just a faction of outcasts. That's why it's so different. But it would be cool to see them to start kind of forming a kind of organized hierarchy between the different brutes and all the other classes and species.
I think we're going to be seeing that a little bit, but not so much within the brutes. I think the brutes are all going to be generally the same. The only difference is going to be the armor style. The one thing I definitely want to add in here, because earlier we were talking about it, or at least you were mentioning it, is the radar. So in this instance, we can kind of see the distance gauge of the radar of the brute chief, not the brute chief, but the brute officer that we're seeing over there in the background, and we're seeing on the radar how he's almost towards that edge line over there in the back.
Right, right. Now, one thing to note is in Halo 2, they usually popped out in pairs aside from the Chiefs. The Chiefs always came alone. But the standard brute troopers came in pairs. When you killed the partner in Halo 2, the other one would go berserk and run around. Whereas in Halo 3, they no longer did that, where now if you just damaged them enough, they would go berserk rather than wait for you to kill their buddies. Do you like that aspect, Warhavoc? I'm kind of on the fence about it. I think the regular rage is fine, but it definitely added a very dangerous aspect. So like, oh, I killed him, but now the other one's charging me.
It definitely will be something I think we'll be seeing here because brutes do have an aggressive nature. So if you piss them off enough, they're definitely going to come charging at you like a rhino. Which makes me another thing I would definitely want to add in. since the fact is we're seeing a lot of nature, it makes me wonder how much nature is going to interact with us, let alone try to kill us in these situations, if at all there will be anything that be dangerous for us
Right.
to come across.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and continue it on from here, unless you got anything else.
No, that's it right now.
I just have to say that part right there, all you hear is the brute sitting there as he's flying up in the air.
Yeah.
Red.
And it's so bland. Like, I think when a death like that happens, you want either, some maybe, I don't know if you want gore, but it's just some sort of like effect to kind of show that, there's an explosion, and maybe have some fear in his voice, because he was just kind of like, all right, well, that's life. You definitely want him to scream. Like, usually when they're on the ground and you throw a grenade on them as it sticks, they'll, war cry, or kind of like, like, not again.
I think for sure we're definitely going to be hearing some of that. We're still in the early beta. That's why the brutes don't really have much of a design on their skins. We noticed it. So if we looked at the pilot skin, you can actually see like the details. You can see the droplets and stuff like that. You can see, I wouldn't say blackheads, but you can see the little divots on his skin. Kind of a thing if you really pay attention. Over here, the brute looks like he's still that gray mesh, like the 3D model designs. Like they really haven't really finished editing. They're just trying to throw it all together and just like, here you go.
Yeah, that could be. Now, looking at him, there's a new weapon that's actually on his back here, or rather, aside. Which one is that?
So for that one, it looks like a cross between the brute shot and maybe the I want to say the elite's version of the. I want to say the plasma rifle, but not the plasma rifle. Is what we see in Halo Reach.
Oh, which one are you thinking of?
It's the upgraded version of the plasma rifle.
Oh.
It hits harder, but shoots slower.
Is the energy and the orange energy?
It's blue.
It's the caster, right?
Repeater.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's what we're seeing is what we're coming across right now. But oh shoot, just had a brain fart. Never mind.
Well,
the one thing I definitely will say is they definitely look different for jetpacks.
Oh yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah, that is the jetpack. It's smaller, slimmer. Yeah.
Makes me wonder. Do you only get one jump?
That's true. I wonder if we'll be seeing power-ups in this. Like, I guess I haven't really seen power-ups, just kind of special items that you can pick up, like that wall deployment that you had. I wonder if jetpack will be a thing that you can use later on. But,
Makes me wonder if that's what the armor enhancements might be.
Yeah, could be.
Let's go ahead and take a look a little bit further.
Oh, and there it is.
So the one thing I can definitely say is, as of right now, even though it is in demo, we can all just say how majestic this whole area is. The open world, the fact that we can see what looks like a fog or a mist over there on the mountains and everything else. That one special Forerunner tower, I should say,
Yeah.
in the background, which has been iconic for a while now, ever since I forget where we first saw it. I think it's one of the original trailers where we got to see this little area, which makes me wonder, what is that? We never seen it ever in any of the other Halo games. Halo CE, Halo 2, Halo Wars. This is the first time we've seen it.
I don't
and it's
think,
definitely not the library.
Yeah, I don't think that's actually part of the Halo. That could just be a forgotten Halo Forerunner ship that just didn't vacate in time.
Yep.
So that'd be interesting. And the whole concept of Master Chief becoming the super soldier and being a Spartan was cool and all, but one thing I wish they did in Halo 5 and Halo 4 was to kind of give him the next step in becoming the Reclaimer, taking Forerunner technology and kind of, taking the mantle, so to speak. So we'll have the different weapons, like all the Forerunner technology, but on Master Chief, and kind of explore through that, seeing him as the Reclaimer coming back, after all this millennia, the Forerunner being gone, now humans are starting to pick up the pieces. But it's weird that they changed the story in Halo 4 and 5, that now all the races were technically considered Forerunner, but in Halo 1, 2, and 3, I guess in Halo 3, 343 even mentions you are Forerunner. And so to me, I was thinking like, all right, humans are Forerunners, and Covenant hate them for that reason that they were picked. But they kind of changed it. I'm hoping something will kind of clear that up in this story, kind of tying back the Forerunners to humans. Obviously, with all that's kind of set in stone now, we're not going to see the humans as Forerunners, but rather Forerunner as kind of like its own covenant, where it's different species, but not so much together, but rather just in that era together.
So in the storyline, from what I recall, I might be off just a little bit here, but from what I understand is the reason why the humans are declared as the Forerunners was because the fact is, way before, the Forerunners and the Flood became a
Right.
thing. Before that, it was the humans and the Didact going to war. The Didact came up with a solution to making humans into Prometheans, mindless robots that would do their bidding. And it was his decision that he wanted to try to enslave or kill off the entire human race. The rest of the species, the rest of the Forerunners at the time said no. Every race, every life is sacred, and we need to preserve it. And so that's the reason why they made sure that they reset the humans. So at the same time, like everyone else, they were fully reset, just like everyone else from the Dark Ages, so to say.
Right. Why haven't we seen the librarian and the Didact's species come back? That's one thing that's kind of left down.
So the Librarian, from my understanding, she only had I don't think she was actually back herself. Like, we saw her subconscious.
Well, I don't mean
coming
her
back
specifically, but like her own species, her own race, because they're not Tangheili. They don't have the jaw that
Oh
protrudes.
yeah, no, they were wiped out. So because they created the Halo rings, they sacrificed themselves to save every other species in the galaxy from the Flood by sacrificing themselves. The only person that from their species to survive was the Didact, and that was because he was in a shield, the little prison
Right. Right.
at the time. So she herself, the Librarian, never survived. It was just her
She's kind of like the AI now.
fragment image.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
even then, that was being wiped away, if I remember correctly. Like, I don't think it survived in Halo 4.
I don't know. Story wise, I would have kind of seeded that race regardless, and yeah, obviously the librarian would be dead regardless, but at least have some sort of seed. Maybe they are still alive. Maybe they were seeded, but they're on the opposite side of the galaxy.
So, to continue from the story there, they were supposed to have a planet that would protect them, which is where we would see Dr. Halsey and, I want to say, Kelly, if I remember correctly from the storyline from the books.
You going off
where
of
we
Ghost
have
of Onyx?
Yes. At least I think that's which one it was.
The
Where
Shield
they go
world.
into the Shield planet, the
Yeah.
Shield world. So when I saw Halo 4, I'm like, that's the Shield world. But finding out later on, that was actually not the Shield world.
I know that was
It was a
interesting.
major
Yeah.
letdown. I was thinking that was the
Yeah.
Shield world. We're gonna see Dr. Halsey. We're gonna see Kelly and everything else. But no,
Nah.
we don't see her at all.
Yeah, I feel like Halo 5 could have definitely hit some pretty cool story lines, but I don't know. That's just the way they went, and it is what it is, and I think they've learned a lot from certain mistakes in the past. That Halo Infinite, I'm actually really excited for. Halo 5, one of the worst things that they announced was the removal of co-op split screen. I was sad because I've played every Halo on release through split screen, and that was like the first Halo, so I didn't even bother with it. That was the first Halo I didn't buy on release, was Halo 5. But now it's on PC, so it's completely different, and it seems like it's crossplay compatible with I guess the new Xbox, Xbox X, which will be interesting. We've already seen some balance done, and I will say that playing on a controller is still much easier than mouse and keyboard, just with that aim assist. Or maybe I'm just terrible at the game. I was so good at it with controller back in the Xbox days, but now that I've played PC, I'm so terrible at it.
All right, let's go ahead and continue. Got anything else?
No, no, that's it.
Alright. Just like seeing the whole environment, the open world, the flying creatures that we're seeing. That's like birds. I wouldn't know if you
Particles.
would call them birds because they are a form of aviaries, or at least what we can tell. But look at that new Phantom and that jackal.
Is that a jackal though?
Yes, that is a jackal. He's
Okay.
very slim and very tall.
I don't
They're
know.
not normal
I,
jackals.
I confuse the skirmishers with the jackals all the time. They look so similar. At least with
Yeah, they're-
from far away.
They're very, very similar. Although the jackals don't have feathers or anything. If they do, which is what we see in Halo 2, is usually on the back of their heads like a raptor that we
Right.
see in Jurassic Park.
Oh god.
But the skirmishers are fully covered in feathers.
Okay, I gotcha.
So the one thing I don't really like, I mean, it's a whole new idea, it's a whole new concept, and because they are banished, is that Phantom. It's like,
Yeah.
is that even a Phantom, or is that like a different
It looks like a variant.
Phantom make? Like, you know how we have like certain cars, like we'll have a BMW of 2005, now we have a BMW of 2020. Completely the same kind of car, but differently styled because it's been upgraded. So I'm wondering, is this just theoretically a new upgraded
Phantom.
version of a Phantom?
I think so. I mean, you look at the layout; it's all the same. It's mostly just kind of frame differences, slight frame variations. It could be. I don't know if it's because it's an updated model or because it's a banished variant. It's yeah, it's hard to say at this point. I mean, we don't
To be
know.
honest, it feels older.
He feels
Because
older.
the fact is, yeah, because if you look at the back of the Phantom right now, you can seeing thrusters.
Yeah.
And so in the original Halo, well not Halo CE, but Halo 2, Halo 3, and I believe in Halo Reach, we don't see anything like that. We might see a special energy pulsing coming out of the ship, but those weren't actual thrusters. And you
you're
would
right.
see it on the bottom section of their ship as well. Which on this one, it kind of looks like a, Unity frigate or anything else like that because it just has the thrusters on the back.
You think this is just like a faster variant of what we typically see from a Phantom? Because you're right. Because usually in the Phantom, it's their power, their output, their thrust comes from the center, and this looks like it's kind of spread out. You got a little bit on the middle there, and then kind of goes out towards the outer reaches there. Because you do have those two main thrusters, and then like the core thrusters in the back.
It reminds me of the Pelican without the front wings.
Yeah, no, yeah. I can definitely see that. Maybe they could have adapted technologies together to retrofit it. That's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, it's true. Which, you know what, at this case, it's like a... It feels like 343 is crossbreeding with, what is that movie with aliens? The new, like, before everything ever even happened, the people that created the species that became the aliens as it was. in the
Oh,
movie.
don't even get me started with aliens.
Where they're talking about how they, like, the predators, they have to, like, take little things here to perfect everything. That's how it seems like with the Banished. They just take every little thing and try to upgrade it so that they can become
Oh, the predators.
better possession of themselves as well as for everyone else.
Maybe that could be. I don't think it's directly influenced, but I think yeah, that could be similar. Oh, yeah, it's definitely something to think about.
Continue. So I have to
Whoa,
say,
whoa, whoa! Stop it
that
right
one
there.
of the greatest moments is seeing a flying grunt now.
Yeah, what the heck was that about? See,
I
with
know,
its-
right?
Now, was he thrown, or did he actually jump, or did he have like a jetpack that we just didn't notice?
From what we can tell, I never really see what happened. I think he might actually have his own little thruster. I don't think anyone threw him. At least from what we can tell, we don't see anyone that would throw him. But very quick, I want to throw this out here. What we're seeing is what is being called the pulse carbine. Although
okay.
this looks very close, if I remember correctly, to Halo 2's storm rifle.
It does look like the storm rifle. I'm guessing it's just a different ammo type. Yeah, but it looks very powerful.
I would see how it goes. He
He
put it
changed.
away. There we
There it
go.
is. Ooh, it's fast.
So there we were just a little bit earlier. We were talking about the brutes and how they changed different and everything else like that, getting different variants and such. We can see right there that that brute was like the other ones because he had blue armor, just like the elite that he was standing right next to just moments before.
Right. Yeah, I know the elites have their own caste system which defines the armor, but I'm not sure about the colors. I know gold is like the very elites. The whites are the what was it? The not the Templars. The oh, what is the word? What is the word? It slipped out of my mind. Zealots. That's it. Thank you, Gibbsy. Thank you, Gibbsy. But yeah, I don't know if it's. I think it's just odd how different all the variants are, like especially with color. But I think with the elites, the whole point was the coloring difference, so you could tell on them apart on the battlefield.
Well, it's the same thing with even the jackals and the grunts and everything else like that. So the golds are usually generals. Well, whites were technically council members or guardians. And then you have the mix of the gold, the orange, and the red, and that usually had to be the honor guards.
Right.
So it's just they just have all these variants that you can tell where they were or know who they were, kind of a thing.
I've always wondered about the grunts hierarchy. That'd be very interesting to go into, or even seeing the grunt homeworld.
We see the homeworld of the grunts a couple of different times. We see
We
it
do?
in terminals. Yes, you see it in one of the terminals for a split second. I think in Halo 2's terminal from the Halo Anniversary. Then we see it in the animation series of Halo Legends, I think it is. And, yeah, those are the two times that we see it. So when we first see it, just to give everyone a quick mindset, it's kind of like a mushroom planet where their homes are kind of like a gigantic mushroom. Where
Oh,
it's
right.
like a tree/mushroom.
Don't they
And their
breathe
whole-
methane?
Yeah, the whole world's just covered in methane, so you can see all the gas floating around and everything else like that.
That's
Now,
funny.
the one thing I definitely want to add in there was one of the previous arbiters that we got to hear about is he said that the grunts were very I can't even say the word formidable.
Formidable?
Formidable. Excuse me. Formidable, because when they were in numbers, they were scary. When they were alone,
Yeah. No, I
you
mean,
see it all the time. You see them alone, they're pretty easy. Put them in a herd of them, and it's like, oh my gosh, can you stop shooting me from across the field?
yeah. Just watching this whole gameplay, this guy would have died several times had this been on the Legendary. Like, he's getting away with a lot. Like, his shield was out and he was getting shot still. I'm like, huh.
Well,
Wonder.
yeah, we all know that he's sitting on normal. What a pansy, right?
Yeah, he should be playing on Legendary. Get good, 343.
Right.
Oh,
So
there's the
what we
theme.
see here is called the Mangler. Although the Mangler looks very, very close to the Halo 3's,
Scattershot?
I want to say Scatshot, yeah.
It does. But it looks like it's a slug rather than shooting like the scattered pellet rounds.
Very true.
Ah, that's really
And
cool.
the one thing I definitely wanted to say is that even though this Mangler is not like the Scattershot, it is still similar. Now, the one thing I could definitely say is pretty cool is we now get to see that we can use the grappling hook, like you were talking a little earlier, about grabbing things around your environment. Where we
Right.
can see that we can use it to our advantage. But now we can also see that we can pick up fusion coils. The
That's
little
gonna be cool.
bastards that go boom. It's like, there we go. Now we have to watch out for these guys. We always had to be fearful. Now we can use them to our advantage.
Well, for
Right, we don't want this near us.
Yeah.
Let's throw at the enemy.
For campaign, it makes sense. For multiplayer, it almost seems like it's a trap. Like, oh, coil, I'll throw it at him, man. As soon as you grab it, he just shoots it.
I can just see it now. Someone's across the map. It's like, oh, I'm being pinned down. I'm gonna grab this fusion coil. Yoink! And you get the guy with the sniper rifle going. You messed up. Boom!
Right. It'd be interesting to see if you can pull your allies, closer to you, or if you can pull yourself to them. Because you see him grapple onto the brute and the elite, and he'll pretty much drag himself to them and cut that distance between them and melee them. But I wonder if you can cut the distance to like from a ally. See, so say you throw someone's throwing a grenade at you or your ally, you can repel out of there. What if you can pull them back out and save them? Maybe they're out in the open and it's like, oh, I just need a scout. That could be an actual tactic if that's a thing.
I don't think it's going to be a thing where we can pull characters to your person, but I think if anything, it's going to be where you can pull yourself to them, such as the brute. For anything like objects, I can see it where you're just pulling it to yourself, but for like a character or AI, I think it's just going to be the other way around where you're being dragged to them.
That'd be pretty funny to see them fumble to the floor with their weight being less than yours. Because you weigh tons. You weigh at least as much as a brute. Your armor's so heavy.
You would
But-
think you would weigh more than a brute, to be honest.
Yeah, I would think that too. But I mean, I don't know what brutes are using. These brutes specifically, the Banish, are using human and Covenant technology, and probably even some Forerunner tech too. We just haven't seen anything come of it yet. And I mean, it's still way too early to see. But we'll find out as time goes on.
Yep.
So that brute had an overshield on him.
So one thing I definitely have to say is those little things that we saw in Halo Reach and Halo 3, the little shade turrets, as they were called, they were just annoying as they were with the heavy armor that they had around them. Now they're shielded. Like, seriously?
I think they changed it so that way you have to take out the shields first. But you can still, I'm sure if you take a fuel rod or, rock launcher, you should be able to take it out with a shot. But I think it was just more focused on fire, the small arms fire. That'd be pretty cool. Looking at the background here, I like the design of it being kind of spread out like that. The terrain here, the box looking terrain, but I don't know if I like the box itself. Maybe if I like the pentagons or hexagons more.
Oh, no, yeah. So what you're seeing in the back, those are hexagons.
Are they?
Yes. And so there is an actual place here in real life on planet Earth. If I want to remember correctly, I want to say it's Scotland or Ireland or Greenland. It's one of those areas. It's all I know is it's somewhere over there in that general area where they have an entire island, just like a good section of it, just covered with those stones.
You mean
Which
like
we also
Stonehenge?
see in another game, which is the Ark in Ragnarok.
Are you talking about Stonehenge, or you mean like actual stones that are hexagon shaped?
Actual stones are hexagon shaped.
Huh. I'll have to look
We
this up.
actually we see those. So in real life, I forget where they are, but I know they're somewhere in that general region, up in the north side.
Gotcha.
But as we can see right here, very quick, we just pointed out
Israel?
the new shotgun, which is kind of like the riot shotgun, or the, I want to say the SAS, or whatever the heck it's called. Israel, actually? I think there was one over on an island up in the north of Britain, isn't there?
Ireland,
is what I'm
yeah.
thinking. That's what I was thinking about. But so there's one in Israel as well, so that's definitely news to me.
Yeah. Hey, learning on the stream, love it. Ooh, there it is, the bulldog. This looks more accurate. Definitely like more accurate.
Oh yeah, the shots are way more concentrated. Makes me kind of feel like it is a different bullet design. Instead of the scatter shot, so to say, of the
So-
little BBs mixed in for the shotgun,
It's more of a slug.
maybe it's more of the drive bullet, the, I forget what it's called.
Like a buckshot?
Like a buck, no, not a buckshot.
Okay.
But the one thing I definitely wanted to add in here is
Not
what we were talking
bigger.
about earlier about power upgrades.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I didn't see a what we call in the Halo game or the Halo universe the engineer. The engineer, which we see on Halo Reach at the very,
Right.
very, very end, and throughout
Halo ODST. Yeah.
So we see one of the elites over here who had overshields, or what we could tell is a sign of overshields. So it makes me wonder, as you were talking about, are we gonna have power-ups, or is it like a little item that you just pick up like in Halo 3?
Yeah, I don't know. Especially because it's going to affect multiplayer, and I think that's the big thing. Is it going to be ability driven, perk driven, or is it just an interactable that you can use on the map? We'll see. I mean,
Probably as of right now, it looks like it might be something that you interactively pick up and put down. But the overshield might be something that you just might have on as a secondary, like upgrade ability.
right.
Let's go and continue. Oops, I almost pushed the wrong button there. Coming for
Boom.
that black down play.
That's right.
Oh, something to point out right there. If you haven't really noticed, just before he jumps, you can hear the sounds of what sounds like a jetpack. So I do believe the Master Chief will have a jetpack.
I don't know. I mean, I think he was just on a jump, and it just shot him up like a shaft.
Well, if we were able to rewind it, we could probably go back and see if we can hear it. But from what I could definitely tell, right there, that little spot where it's kind of like mixed in, because usually when we hear lifts, we don't hear what sounds like a engine roaring fire. We usually hear something more poetic, so to say, very calm, that's
Right.
like lifting you up, like in Halo 2, Halo CE, and stuff like that, for a grab lift. For
Right.
this one, we could hear what sounds like him jetpacking up just a little bit, because he's not directly at the lift when he jumps up, but you can definitely tell that he's catching it as he's going up.
It could be. I mean, it could be something that he might have boosted himself up a little bit more. I don't know. I didn't see him change his ability there. It looks like it's still on the grapple, but yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say there's no jetpack, but it would be interesting to have it back as one of those
We have to think about
Utilities.
that for like certain games. In order to get that extra boost in your jump, you just double tap A.
right. Or just switch with LB. he's gonna switch his utility here. Utilities
Well,
and
yeah, well, I'm just saying, like the normal default, you usually just double jump, essentially, and that activates your little lift.
one thing I forgot to ask was when the shield comes back. Usually you're used to seeing it almost like an electrical effect, but in this one it's more hexagon shape when it kind of comes to pieces like a puzzle, like it's slowly coming together as the shield come. Do you like that, or do you prefer the original look of the shield regenerating?
Personally, I like the original because in this one, it definitely cuts out the sides of your screen so that way you can't see people in a split second. So can you just imagine yourself, you're a multiplayer, and you have that screen, recharge effect going on, and it completely cuts out that guy coming down the corridor in the top right corner of your screen because you were just recharging your shields.
No,
So
that
that split second, that guy has that much of an advantage, that split second, that could change the faction of if you're going to live or you're going to die.
yeah. I'm wondering if they made it more like that the wall utility. If they made it that transparent and made it have some opacity to it, that maybe it'd be a little easier. But it is kind of bright, so I don't know. I think it could sideswipe you there if you're not really, expecting it to regenerate and you're expecting someone to come from your left or right. It will be kind of hard to kind of focus on any specific area, to be honest. So I don't know. It is kind of covering some sides. You're right. I like the look of it, but maybe make it a little transparent, a little more transparent. I think that's. It's all right. Yeah.
So as we continue on here, we get to see, oh no, Master Chief, what did you do?
Yes, he lost this war months ago. Your people are broken, scattered, hunted, defeated by me. I wish I could tell you it was difficult, but it wasn't. We are one step ahead. Oh!
So I just had to pause it right there. As he sits there and says, we are one step ahead always. So if that was the case, And then here's the thing: in the story for Atriox against the Covenant, Atriox, when he started, he was by himself. One day he decided, you know what, enough's enough, and he took charge, and then he started becoming powerful and powerful and powerful. And then the Covenant, High Charity, and the Council, they couldn't do nothing to stop him because he just could not be defeated. And so, being the fact that he's sitting there saying things like, "We're always one step ahead of you," makes me wonder, what benefits is he getting out of this? Maybe we're going to see something like an oracle, where something that's going to predict future events and give him that insight. That's going to give him a unfair advantage over other people because they can see in the future.
You think we'll
But-
get a new species that's like this, or is it like a specific character?
Like a character, not something that we're probably going to interactive, like the librarian and stuff like that. It's
Ah,
just like
okay.
something that's just in the storyline. The one thing where I paused it at is where we get to that scene where it shows saying infinity, and then now we're seeing where it says deceased, and the only thing we see is the pelican that's green. So it's like that's all that's left. Everything else has been destroyed or wiped out. But as we can see, that if they're counting vehicles as well, what about that warhog or that other pelican that we saw? You know, were those completely destroyed as well? I mean, that warhog obviously wasn't. So makes me wonder what he's seeing right now. Is that really true?
I don't
Or
know.
is that just something that they might be ploying as like a ruse tactic? Because the guy in the Pelican has obviously faced the Banish multiple times, especially in the Pelican. That's why he was panicking in that one video that we got to see, where he's just like, no, 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 not again, not again.
Right.
And so it's just wondering, it's like, could they have directly influenced him and make him feel alone?
Maybe. Yeah.
Because maybe he's a special character that has information. Like in Halo Wars 2, that AI, having special detailed information, and that they would not destroy the AI because they want to get out of them. And they were doing everything to scare the crap out of the AI, and that's why the AI was so scared in Halo Wars 2. Would not want to help or anything, because she was just too scared to do anything.
Makes sense.
So it's the same thing with him, so it's more like putting him into that state.
You
that
think-
state of-
You think he's gonna die? I'm calling it right now and saying he's dying.
Okay, so for story bloopers and stuff like that for everyone here, I do have a feeling he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And
It
it
just
all
it
has to do
seems.
with the fact that he's like, I am desperate. I want to get home. I want to see my kids. And I don't know for anyone here, if we've seen movies, we've seen other games, where someone that is very desperate and they're very connected with the main story, it makes you really feel, those characters always end up somehow dying. Whether it be,
Yep.
you know,
Call it cliche.
oh, by the way, are you still there, Guts?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, so we just had to cut out for a second in our stream.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, but it's back.
Sweet.
Okay, so I forget where we were, but in that sense, for him, yeah, I do feel like he's gonna be ending up dying for sure.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be at towards the end. He's like, "Ah, we finally made it," and then gone. Credits roll.
Yep, I have a feeling. I have a feeling like that. Especially the fact is, everyone was not very happy with Loki, and so with Locke, makes me wonder what's gonna happen to him. Because I know from what it sounds like, they're just gonna go ahead and kill him off.
Really?
Or did they just- yeah, from what I understand, they're gonna go and kill him off. So if they're gonna go kill him off, is it just sudden, like, oh hey, by the way, he's dead, just like everyone else?
Ah, that seems kind of
Yeah.
hard. I feel like if they'd rather just leave it alone, if anything, and unless he is, I don't know. That's talent you don't want to get rid of. But you know, at the same time, you don't want to have to bring him back if you don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't think-
like playing his
Yeah,
storyline.
I don't. Yeah, because that's such a cheap thing to do. By the way, he's dead. It's like, what? I was like, okay, well, you obviously
Well,
don't want him back in the story.
Well, yeah, it's just because that's what the general fan base was saying. They didn't really like Locke, especially the fact that what made everyone feel like that was not possible was the fact that he technically beat Master Chief in a fist fight.
Yeah, I didn't like that. But I will say though, killing his character off doesn't make sense at this point. Just because you're mad that he beat Master Chief, it's like, I mean, I don't agree that he should have beat. I think Master Chief should have messed him up.
Yeah, Master Chief should have. But then
Sure.
again, it can also be an age thing as well too, because Master Chief is, I definitely want to say over 40 years old from where he was at the time.
So you're saying,
Even though he
you know,
didn't technically age because he was in cryo sleep for a lot of those times.
that's true.
But he's still pretty much older than where he's supposed to be. Let's go ahead and continue here.
He's already under our control.
Now the
So I
Halo's
just want to
destroyed.
pause right here. So this is the ring that I was talking about. So the fact is, what we see here is just that one ring, with one little section that just missing. Makes you wonder where this ring is. We don't see a planet in the background, so it makes me just wonder: is there a planet somewhere nearby?
At the end of Halo Wars 2, we see the scientists teleport with the ring to another area, and then the portal closes behind her. Do you think this is that ring from Halo Wars 2?
No, because from my understanding, because what she was talking about was in that storyline was they were going to go back to the Halo ring that was close to Reach, so therefore she can contact with the human colonization at Halo Reach. So that way she can try to reconnect, set up a beacon, have them go rescue the Spirit of Fire that's now stranded at the Ark. So,
Right, okay.
which is Halo Installation 04, which is what we see in Halo CE, where Master Chief destroyed the very first ring that pissed off Guilty Spark.
Right, okay. Okay, yeah.
Tor,
So right there, as we can see, just that one little section, just wanted to point that out very quick.
as well. The Harbinger and the Banished share the same goal. We fight together to honor the will of Atriox. Without challenge, I grew weary.
So I want to just say right now, like, his speech is very long for him being such a villain. You would think it'd be, kind of to the point, like, all right, we're gonna kill you, we're coming for you, beware. But he's giving this long speech. He's giving a lot of information.
He's
Atriox.
monologuing.
Yeah, but
As
I don't
the
know.
word goes, it's monologuing.
But that's the thing is, like, if it's like a message that Master Chief's retrieving, that he's messaging UNSC and he's picking up this message. Okay, it's one thing, but this is more directly to Master Chief, and it's like, it's just one guy. It's, yeah, sure, he's a Spartan. He's got his suit, but it's like, why would I need a monologue, to this one guy?
Propaganda, trying to send. It's like a fear tactic. It's a ruse, so to say. So the one thing that I definitely want to add in here is what we were talking about a little bit earlier. He was talking about the Harbinger and his forces, the
The
Banished. Thank you. They're working together. So right now, the Harbinger could be technically anyone. But what I'm thinking is, where a lot of people are speculating is, they have sided with Cortana as a Harbinger.
You're right. That's definitely a possibility. But he speaks about Atriox. Why isn't Atriox there? Why is it him? Atriox didn't die in Halo Wars 2. He just lost. It was like his first major defeat. So seeing him, I mean, like, this guy's, I guess, is his second in command. Now his second in command in Halo Wars died, I believe, and so I guess this is his replacement here. But what happened to Atriox? That's something I'm wondering what they're gonna do.
So I'll continue that off very quick, but very quick. The Harbinger in definition, a person or thing that announces or signals the approach of another. So with that being said, Cortana that we saw, was bouncing around trying to find it, Infinity. So he's announcing someone. So this could technically be anyone. It could not be Cortana. It could be a new threat.
That's true.
Entirely new. Which is what I felt, because the fact that this is supposed to be an open world, and being the fact that it's called Halo Infinite, definitely gives me a feel like it's going to be more of an MMO. So I feel like we're going to be more of an open world, anyone can kind of join kind of a thing, and be in that same world session, so to say. But
like Destiny
if that's
almost.
going to be, why is the story playing it off as Master Chief, though?
That's the weird thing is it could be that they're gonna have the campaign which focuses on Master Chief. I don't think they'll kill Master Chief off. but I think that he's going to be core into the introduction, the first half of the game. And I think that's when reinforcements arrive, and that's when you become your own Spartan, finish the story, so to speak. But I mean, it's if it is an MMO, then the story obviously can't end. You have to have something to, end the chapter, so to speak. Yeah, like Destiny. That's exactly what I was thinking. I don't know. That's a very interesting topic. You said the Harbinger, and I'm thinking like, yeah, you're right. It could be something similar to the Librarian, but it's actually just another being that's, either long deceased and is just another image of itself as
So
being
the
called the Harbinger.
Yeah, so here's like something that Bungie and a couple of other game companies like 343 is trying to do is using specific words. So if you read into them and actually learn the definitions, they kind of give you like a spoiler hint. So another thing I can add on to the Harbinger for a secondary definition, a forerunner of something. So being in that fact is forerunner is technically something that um, is new,
Right.
kind of a thing. So yeah, I had a different name, but I'm kind of brain farting here right at the moment. But being with that fact said, a good hint is, could this be a previous Forerunner?
That could be.
So being the fact that Cortana went rogue and started activating the oh my gosh, I'm totally not there right now.
All the tech, all the Forerunner tech.
All the tech, the Guardians. When she was activating the Guardians, she woke up a couple of different things as well. One of them being the Sentinel that was really dedicated about protecting her and everything else like that. And then she's activated all these other AIs that sided on her side and everything else. So with that being said, it makes me wonder: could it be the Didact return?
I don't know if it's the Didact. Could be. But I mean, I feel like the Didact's kind of been running as long as it did, and that's it. But I don't know. I feel like it's going to be something new. That's my guess. I don't think it's going to be the Didact coming back. I mean, maybe as a librarian in that form, where he's actually more of an AI than he is a living being. Sure, I think that could be a thing.
Boy, that's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking it's either the Didact or something along those lines as the previous Forerunners, like the species that started Halo, so to say, that built all those machines and everything, all the Sentinels and everything else, or Cortana. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those three options right now, as the new enemy that we're going to be seeing, besides, of course, the Banished. But I also have a feeling we're going to see the remnants of the Covenant fleet as well getting involved. So we're going to have the normal Covenant, and then we're going to have the Banished, and we're going to have Cortana and her Sentinels. That's what I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing. Because honestly, you cannot, exclude Sentinels and everything else for the Halo defenses and everything else when we get to see a huge army of them take down a fleet carrier of the Covenant, Banished forces, and cut it in half with just the Sentinels. The ones that we've grown up to know in Halo CE, Halo 2, and even Halo 3.
You just reminded me of a dream I had, and I dreamt that Cortana found this new technology, and in this technology she was able to produce organic life, and the main focus was a daughter, her having a daughter in the dream. I'm wondering if something similar could happen in the actual Haloverse, where she maybe not have a daughter, but like maybe she could create an organic type body for herself and become immortal rather than a sentient AI.
I know that's what she craves, because we see that in the end of Halo. I want to say Halo 2, where she's cradling over Master Chief, kind of a thing. No, it's the
I think
end of
that's
Halo 3.
yeah.
End of Halo 3 to the beginning of Halo 4 is where we see that. So we that's where she starts to phase out and everything else like that. So I do have a feeling that we're going to see something like that, especially during Halo 4, which was a very touching moment towards the end where she just fades away.
Right.
So I definitely know that they have an actual connection, not just she's my AI and he's the Guardian kind of a thing. It's more of they are connected spiritually. And so in this fact, I know that she definitely wants to become more real, not just so much as the AI. Because when the Didact ship exploded, she favored that moment to, as she said, to touch him, as she touched onto his chest plate.
Right. Yeah, that could be a thing.
So that is definitely going to be something that we're definitely going to be seeing. But as she's been proclaiming from Halo 4 or Halo 5, she is doing it to save the humanity from themselves as well as everyone else. So she's trying to use everything to control everyone else.
Yeah.
Stop
Cortana
all
is the
war, stop all grief, and everything else, but they're doing it in the wrong fashion.
I don't know. I wonder. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens because Halo Infinity. It seems like you have two timelines coming together: Halo Wars 2 and the Halo 4-5 coming back. But then you have Cortana kind of being off in the distance. We don't know what's happened with her. But yeah, I definitely think that's a possibility. You know, her trying to become close, or maybe even try to make John into like a AI. That'd be very interesting, or something similar to what the Prometheans are.
That would be a little bit dangerous because that would mean that he could be like that one Sentinel that could not die because he's in multiple places at once.
Right.
But the thing I want to definitely add in here is we have someone here talking about Cortana being technically Halsey's daughter.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how that is because if I remember correctly from the storyline, isn't Cortana a subconscious of Dr. Halsey
She's
herself?
she's just a replica of Halsey, but in AI form. No, so I guess technically you could say she's the Geppetto to Cortana being the Pinocchio in the story.
Gotcha. And then seeing right here, so Halsey refers to Cortana as her daughter.
Yeah. Oh, she does. Okay. I don't remember. Was that in one of the books? Because she didn't say it in the
I think
games.
I remember that being in, what was it, Halo 5.
Halo 5.
What happened to my daughter, or something like that along those lines, because she's worried about Cortana and how she's becoming the way she was. So I think we do hear something like that. But let's go ahead and continue on while we're sitting here.
Hello. Here you now stand. This is my last fight. A true test of legends. Our story will outlive.
So I was trying to pause it in the right spot. The one thing critical that I noticed that a lot of people haven't even mentioned yet, if you're paying attention to this film, when it goes to him, it's not because he's in that same room or anything. It's because they're taking it to where he is. And he's hiding something. And I can bet you a lot of money, if you want to bet cash, he's hiding something that is actually important behind him. Because what we can see is what looks like a building material that's centering mass right behind him. So he's blocking out that image right now.
Maybe.
So if you watch very closely, when you see the light effects flashing, you're going to see that structure right behind him. So just kind of look off to the left or the right side of his head right now.
Us. Set a fire in your heart, Spartan. Bare your fangs. Fight on. Die well.
Did you kind of see it right there, what I was mentioning?
Yeah, kind of.
So he's blocking off something, which I don't think is just normal, structure of maybe a ship or something like that. Because that doesn't look like Forerunner,
No.
and that definitely doesn't look like UNSC, and it doesn't look like Covenant either.
Could be brutes. We've never seen brute tech. I mean, aside from the weapons, we've never seen like brute ships. Actually, no. We have seen the
brute-
shredder or the chopper.
No, we've seen brute technology and stuff like that. Brute technology doesn't look anything close to what we were seeing right there. Especially when it comes to the end part, the structure, all those pipes or wires or something like that. So it makes me wonder if something right there behind them is kind of like the Matrix, the eye that is connected to everything.
Could be. I don't know. And there's that structure again in there on the top right.
Yeah, so that structure is very, very important. It makes. I don't think that guy's gonna be up in there because again, that structure in the background
Yeah, I
was
didn't look for
definitely
runner.
not Forerunner, and it definitely was not Unicy. And from what we can tell, when it comes to the Brutes ships, it's the Covenant design, which is usually around the same style and structure as the Zanghili elites. So the Brutes, when they had their own ships, even when it came to the Banish pretty much had the same exact ships as the Zanghili ships as well. So I highly doubt it was the ship technology as well. So it makes me wonder what else is going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that is curious. Very
And
curious.
the thing that I definitely want to add on there, we were talking about the flood a little bit earlier and stuff like that. Halo Wars 2, those Brutes were stupid about the flood.
Yeah, of course.
This one, I highly doubt they're going to be that stupid. I mean, if they're that stupid, that brings out the flood. Like, hello.
I don't know if it'll be
Haven't
them.
learned from the first mistake.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be them. It could be Cortana sets them free. Something like that. Like the AI is just like, fuck it, get him.
I wouldn't think so. She's all about preserving and controlling, but only enough to save the species, to keep everyone alive. She was
Yeah.
saying that the humans were not gifted the gift to become the protectors of the galaxy, and that it was all in all was the AI's jobs to do it. So that's why she tried to recruit all the AIs to protect all the species and stuff like that. Which is why we saw that one governor AI from Halo 5 that, did
Oh,
what
you're
he
right.
did.
Yeah.
Because he not only did he want to protect himself from rampancy, but because he actually cared for every individual person that he had on his own planet.
That's right. One thing to note there in the background, I just now see the halo is broken right here on the left side, and you can even see some damage here on the top of the halo.
Yeah, I see that.
That's funny. So I
So it
wonder,
makes me
yeah.
wonder if we're actually seeing Halo, Halo Installation 04 or not. Because honestly, I thought they were going to merge Halo Wars 2 with Halo Infinite.
That's what I was thinking too. I don't know. I
So,
don't know.
to go off about your Atriox question a little bit earlier, why were we not seeing Atriox? The reason is because roughly around the same time, so from my understanding, the end of Halo Wars 2 is roughly around the same time Halo Infinite starts. Roughly.
Oh,
so-
okay.
With that being said, if this is all the case and that's the truth, Atriox is stuck on the Ark. Because there he was commanding his forces, whatever force that he could get on the new Installation 04 that was supposed to be replacing it, which is what we see with that one doctor
Right.
getting on there to start that all up.
That makes
Which
sense.
then we see her run into the Guardians.
That's right. No, you're right. You're right.
But the question is, did she run into Cortana with the Guardian? That's the thing.
I don't know. That's what I was wondering, if maybe the Harbinger is just something else completely.
But yeah, for sure. And the one thing I do remember, I want to say it's from Halo Wars 2. I could be wrong. Or it might be Halo 1. Halo Wars, the first one. All I know is I do remember a flood. There's a scene where we see the Doctor walking around on the planet surface of the ring, and she's running around the teleporters, and the flood are running around.
The flood.
Because in the original Halo Wars, we do see the flood. And we do see the flood again in Halo Wars 2.
Carlos
Halo
on
2 is
YouTube.
supposed to be contained.
Carlos on YouTube says, I don't know who you are, but I take a like. Keep doing your content. Do not let anything stop you. Greetings from Mexico. Thanks, Carlos. Appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for stopping by. Definitely was quite longer than we anticipated. But hey, that's quite all right. I had a lot of fun doing this. Hope you did too, Warhavoc.
Oh, definitely. Especially with the fact that we could just sit here and talk about Halo and what we feel like is going to happen and what may potentially happen. A lot of this is very good insight, and I do feel like Halo Infinite is going to be really good. I do have a strong feeling Halo Infinite is going to be good, even though a lot of people are criticizing because of the graphics.
Yeah.
Which I recommend for everyone that is watching right now. Don't be so critical as of right now, because the fact is the demo was months, months early before we got to see it.
And it's
they
possible that
didn't
it's,
have
yeah.
it updated. They did not update it to show us as is. So was it like 4 or 5 months, previous work without it being up to date to show us what they could. So we're seeing like the more basic version.
This could be good.
So
I'm actually really excited for this.
it's pretty good, especially for being an open world. That they were trying to get away from the normal genre where you just run in a single, direction kind of a thing. I never liked those kind of games, even when I was growing up. But at the time, you couldn't really have those open world games. They took up way too much memory, and nothing could support them. Now we have the technology and everything else to support an open world. So I'm just like, heck yeah, let's see an open world. I would love personally seeing a Halo MMO.
Me
Where
too. Me too.
You might not start. You can choose your species. You can be human. You can be.
Well, I don't know about
Undead.
that.
You can be. You choose your species, so to say, human, covenant, whatever, and then you can work your way. But the thing is, I don't think being a Spartan would be one of the main things that you would get up into unless you do like all these objectives. Like in a good example, Elite Dangerous. I don't know if a lot of people here play it or not, but they have a structure system that's like a military ranking system. You have to be within a certain rank to use a certain ship. So you have to be part of the federal faction in order to fly the federal corvette, and then you had to be rear admiral in order to even own that ship, to be able to purchase that ship, kind of a thing. So that's why I kind of a feeling like you have to have your human character work your way up. I think that would be perfect for like a Halo MMO, and then you just have like a big open area that's PvP, so you can go against whoever's on that side, kind of thing.
You think
I
it's?
think that would be phenomenal.
You think
Phenomenal.
it being MMO would be more like the Destiny way, where you have constant events, which would be maybe attacks on the Banished, or maybe the Banished are attacking your territory. You have to defend. Because I mean,
Yeah, kind of like that. Not like, excuse me, not like oh my god, not like WoW.
okay,
Definitely like
no,
WoW.
of course not. That
Well, yeah,
that'd be too different.
something like Destiny. So you can have AI interaction and player interaction, but it's all completely open world. You run into them, kind of a thing. So the closest way I can say that is definitely like Elder Scrolls Online. When you go
Okay.
to that PvP center of the map, kind of a thing. You don't know
Um,
who you're going to run into, but it's going to be enemy more than likely.
okay. Have you played PlanetSide 2?
Yeah, I think I did for a little bit.
You think you'll be able to have that kind of action in PvP, maybe like an open world PvP area where you can play as
Realistic?
yeah.
You know what? Honestly, that would be an amazing thing that they could do for this game.
I think so too. Especially with it being console and PC. I think Halo Master Chief Collection on Steam was the first game to really successfully cross-play Xbox and PC. It feels pretty balanced. Like I can actually compete with controllers. Obviously, controllers have a little bit more handicap because it's analog versus the precision of a mouse. That's why they have the target assist, which actually I didn't realize how terrible I was until I learned that target assist wasn't on keyboard and mouse.
Are they actually making it cross-compatible? From my understanding, I didn't think they're going to make it cross-compatible.
I was under the impression that they were, but I could be wrong. I think that everything is set up. Like I feel like Master Chief Collection right now is just a testing ground for them to see how cross platform play will be, which would actually be really cool because that would mean that I could play on an Xbox X, or I could just play on my PC with buddies. That'd be such an amazing thing. With the
Unfortunately, from my understanding, because the fact is I do have certain games that were bought through Microsoft, you could only play it on one system. You have to technically rebuy it again or buy. I forget what it's called. What they have right now
the
for
Game
Microsoft.
Pass.
Game Pass, yeah.
Well, the thing is, this is one thing they did with Steam is you buy it on Steam, you own it through Microsoft Store regardless. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at. It's going to be on Steam again, and then we'll have that crossplay. So if you buy it on Steam, obviously Microsoft's going to be getting that cut, from after Steam gets their, was it 33%?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not like. Oh my gosh, what are they called right now? The people that made Assassin's Creed.
Ubisoft?
Yeah, Ubisoft. I'm trying to remember what their setup that they have. Is it Battle.net? No.
They, or Uplay. They're on Uplay.
Uplay, thank you. So for Uplay, that I don't think Microsoft's going to do anything close to that, unfortunately, because the fact that they don't show any progression towards supporting something like that, because in their mind, it's taking away money from them.
Well, what happened with Xbox Live? That they just kind of lost it. Really, they changed it to the Game Pass.
Yeah, so Xbox Live, from my understanding, is they're slowly turning away from having you pay for Xbox Live services and doing Game Pass. That way they can try to make more money while pleasing their customers at the same time. So they're trying to kind of like equally balance everyone, but still get a profit, coming in. Which honestly, I still don't support that kind of concept. It's like, if you own a game, you should be able to play that with no issues. You shouldn't have to keep paying extra money to constantly play a game that you already own.
Like the remaster.
That's just my general opinion.
Yeah, I'd rather pay like a DLC remaster than buy the whole game again. It's like Halo Master Chief Collection was a rebuy of all the games I already had. I mean, I still have them here on the console, but I'm like, but now I can play it on PC now, and technically on Xbox now, because it is Xbox Store, or rather Microsoft Store.
And that's the thing I liked about Ubisoft with Uplay. You can buy, off of Uplay or Steam or whatever, and it can still be connected together. So you could buy it from Uplay and connect it to your Steam and get it for free through your Steam, because it's already bought. You bought one game for that system, so therefore you already own it. So you don't have to buy it again. That was something I really liked about them. But Microsoft doing something like that, I don't see that ever happening.
I don't know. I feel like this would be a really good opportunity to try something new, especially with how big, because MMOs are typically known for all the cosmetic stuff that you buy. You look at Conqueror's Blade, that's a freaking huge game. I mean, I've already put like $40 into that game, and I don't play it anymore. I could easily put as much money into Halo Infinite,
You don't want to hear how much I put into Conqueror's Blade.
Oh, God. But that's the thing is, when you really enjoy a game, you want to put in a few bucks extra in. And I think that's what's going to happen with Halo Infinite. You're going to get the base game, obviously, and you'll have some new stuff. Maybe Firefight will be expanded upon. Maybe we'll have, a open world firefight kind of a thing, and that'll be kind of the PvP section. Who knows? Everything could be expanded upon, and that's one thing they should really utilize. Is if you have Steam, obviously working with you with the Master Chief Collection, I'd be utilizing that, because right now you don't need an Xbox Live account. Well, you do need the account, but you don't need the subscription to play the game on Steam, which is awesome. So I'm wondering if now that that's really gone, if you'll even need an Xbox Live subscription to play on Xbox X. No more Xbox Live. Now it's just Xbox and the Microsoft Store. So I don't know. If you go through Steam, you'll obviously get more. You'll get the PC sales. You're already going to get the console sales. But that extra could be pretty good. I think so. And, well, I don't know. If you buy it on Steam, you get it on the Microsoft Store, and you'll have it on console and PC regardless. So it'd almost be better just to buy it all on PC, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Because then you'll have it on Xbox Store anyway. Oh, well, I don't know. We'll see. You won't say how much you threw at it, Gimsy? Oh, that's totally fine, dude. Let me just check the comments here on all the pages before we close out here. I do want to eat some food here, and it's been a pretty good discussion. And that's not to say that we won't have any more. We definitely could. If you guys really like this stuff, let us know. Keep giving us likes, follows, subscriptions, whatever. Let us know what you guys want to hear more about. Halo is just something that we grew up on, and Halo is where Late Nights was born. We were originally called Band of the Hawk, and from Berserk, and I changed it to Late Nights because we gamed a lot at night, and we're like, oh, it's midnight, maybe we should go to bed. And like, oh, that's not a bad name for a clan, Late Nights, if we always staying up late. And that's where we were born. So obviously we wanted to talk about Halo, and here we have Halo Infinite coming holiday 2020. I haven't seen any changes on the release date, so I'm still expecting it to be 2020, but I'm still open to the idea that they might, later on be like, all right, well, sorry guys, we have to push it back because there's been a lot of delays as of late, especially with all the stuff going on today out in the world, all the pandemic stuff. It's unfortunate, but I don't know.
I think their goal is to avoid having to push it back.
They might.
Definitely for 3. Because, as it said already, they've already paid $500,000 to try to
Ooh.
get this game to be as good as it is. If I remember correctly, if that's the stats, if I recall.
Damn, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. So to push it back even further is going to cost them even more money.
No, that
So
makes
I
sense.
definitely can tell you they do not want to push it back again, if that's the case.
If anything, they'll probably do something similar to what Destiny did and have like a base core gameplay area where you'll have this certain amount of gameplay, and then as time progresses, they'll add in a few stuff like a typical MMO, which is why I think that might be the route they'll do if that really is what they're shooting for, is this open world MMO-ish type gameplay with the core gameplay campaign.
Is I definitely think Halo Infinite is going to have an infinite playstyle for its campaign. I feel like it's going to be like a copy, well not a copy, but like a
Star
same
Citizen.
style as Skyrim or
Okay.
The Witcher. I have a feeling it's going to be something like that. So it's going to be continual play. I have a feeling you're going to start off in one section of the Halo ring, and you're going to be run from one section of the Halo ring all the way to the other side.
Yeah, and then that kind of put their name, null it. It's infinite for what? Yeah, I think it is going to be MMO in some aspect. Maybe not the campaign. Maybe you'll get the co-op, 4-player co-op, but yeah, as Gimsy said, otherwise they waste the infinite title.
It's definitely going to be interesting if they add in a co-op, because as of right now, how it feels, it doesn't feel like it's going to have a decent co-op, because the fact is, you're Master Chief, and then there's one other pilot, and so far from what we can tell is Master Chief's team is vanished. So who are you going to be? Is this going to be like Halo CE and Halo 2, where you're the same person at the same time? So 2 Master Chiefs running around, or 2 Arbiters kind of thing?
You'll
running
probably
around?
be Spartan 4s. If I'm gonna guess, you're gonna be a random Spartan 4, and that's when you'll start to customize your character. Because now they're not really
That would
technically
kinda go
Spartans,
against
really.
their lore, the lore a little bit.
Not really. Spartan 4s?
No. What I'm saying is, in this situation, Master Chief and the pilot are the only Unity, from what we can tell so far. We're the only survivors. So to have this random Spartan, where you become your own kind of a Spartan kind of thing running in there, wouldn't make kind of sense in this aspect.
I don't know. We don't know what actually happened in the battle and where the battle was limited to. I don't know.
Also, that is true. If they were not to do an MMO or a big like open world constant basis being upgraded, it would definitely ruin the title for Infinite.
I think the battlefield could switch with every season pass or
Reddit
something.
friend, dude, that's the pilot.
Yeah, you play as the pilot. That's
That
funny.
would mean there would only be 2 of you then at that point.
Yeah, but I'm gonna wrap this up now. Let us know in the comments. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube as well. So yeah, give us a like. We appreciate it. I'll make sure to post links here. This is for the YouTube. And other than that, we'll catch you guys later. Just give us some feedback in the comments. We'd appreciate it.
Thanks again, guys, from Commander Guns and War Havoc.
Yep, and post the links real quick before we go. So you guys get our Facebook and YouTube as well. Let me make sure to pass this on as well on the YouTube. Done. Alright guys, well, we'll catch you later. It's War Havoc and Guts here. We're going to be signing off now. Thanks for tuning in.